Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where this week I've been living with this brand new third generation 2026 Audi Q3. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not super familiar with the Q3 because I only drove one second generation car probably 4 or 5 years ago. I think it might have been the first model year of the second generation. So this has been fun to take this all in this week. And I had some friends that went to the media launch of this, so I got some sneak peeks. But it's always fun to have these at home and see what they're actually like to live with. Now, this segment is tough because there are just so many of these compact and subcompact SUVs. Mercedes has one, BMW has one, Lexus has one. Every company has one of these, even these luxury brands now. They all have something to fill the segment. So I figured today we would see what this is like on its home turf in a city, and we're going to run a real world city commute in this new Audi Q3 today. Now, this is completely new for 2026 for its third generation. It's got more power, it's restyled, and inside, Audi has reinvented the turn signal. I'm excited to show you that, but first let's walk around on the outside and show you this beautiful Malpelo blue color, which, I mean, come on, absolutely stunning. Named after an island off the coast of Colombia. A little bit of a boost in power from the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, up to 255 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. We have a 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch automatic transmission, and this is, of course, Quattro all-wheel drive. Now, this 2026 Q3 is an S-Line, and in fact, every new Q3 is an S-Line. I was a bit confused because I went on the configurator to build this, and I didn't remember ticking the box for S-Line. So whether you like it or not, you get the Sport Appearance Pack on the outside, and this one has every option you can tick. This comes in at $52,000. The new Q3 starts at 43 grand, which is about $5,000 more than the outgoing second gen started at, but you get more stuff. They kind of just load this from the get-go, which is a strategy that a lot of companies are kind of employing these days, which I don't really like all that much, because if I want a base model, let me get a base model. If I don't want an S-Line, I shouldn't have to get an S-Line. But anyway, this has other stuff. It's got the 20-inch wheels. It's got the black Optic pack, which I do actually think looks quite nice. You get the black grille, the black trim, the black mirrors, and it kind of accentuates the S-Line characteristics that we already have. Inside, we have the technology pack, the infotainment pack, the driver assistance pack, all the stuff. We'll have the full spec down in the description for you guys, but all you got to know, it's got $9,000 in options, and this is just about as spec as you can get, you know, minus a couple of dealer accessories here and there. But why don't we poke around this? We'll show you this new third gen Q3, and then we'll go and see what it's like to daily drive, to run your morning commute in. And this isn't actually as efficient as I thought, of course, with it being Quattro. It weighs about 3,900 pounds. MPG only rated at 25 average, 22 city, 29 highway. So if you're super worried about efficiency, the Q3, I don't know if it's really your choice. Though Audi does say, and this is not even related to fuel economy, but Audi says that this has the best in segment horsepower and torque, which technically is correct from base model to base model. But a lot of the other companies like Mercedes-Benz and BMW offer a more powerful version of their subcompact SUV. So BMW makes the X1 M35i, Mercedes makes the GLA 35 AMG. This is it for Audi. There are no longer any powertrain options. This is what you get from a base level all the way up to if you put options on it. This is good. Underneath the trunk floor, we get an spare tire, which is a 145/85/18. We've got a toolkit down here and stuff as well. And room in the back is pretty good. Surprise, surprise, the Q3 has gotten a little bit bigger for its third generation, as every car in the history of the world does. At least it seems like in the 2020s, everything is just getting bigger. But surface back here, pretty low to load. You've got a little lip right here and these nice little chrome runners to help you slide stuff in here easily. But I think with these seats folded down, you will be just fine. In fact, I actually used this yesterday. As most of you probably know at this point, Emily and I just moved, and I have to move out of the warehouse as well in Ypsi. So I had the whole back of this filled with stuff. I put the seats down, and it does actually have a very impressive amount of room. I fit like 5 of those black and yellow totes back here. So if you're using the Q3 to move stuff, or if you just have some friends that you're taking to work, they have briefcases or stuff, you can throw those in the back. You will be just fine. Before we show you the interior, let's pop the hood and show you the engine. I always love touching stuff on Audis. I feel like they've got really good touch points, and you know, interacting with stuff here is nice. And check this out, a big hood strut. I feel like nothing I drive anymore has hood struts. Well, this technically doesn't have hood struts, it has hood strut. But there that is, and again, 255 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. You know, it's decent, but this thing, I can't believe this is like 4,000 pounds. I feel like I'm like tempted to always think that anything under 4,000 pounds is light these days. But then I think to like my Cobalt SS, which has about the same power as this, and it's 1,000 pounds lighter. And it's like not that much smaller of a car. I mean, granted, this is all-wheel drive, it's got some luxury things, but cars are just getting so heavy. I think in Europe also, they make a hybrid version of this, which is probably like 4,500 pounds or something crazy. I think this adoption of Audi's new corporate design language here on the Q3 does suit it pretty well. I think the rounded edges and things, they look a little bit nicer on the smaller car, though this does look like a baby Audi Q5. It's really not that much smaller than the new Q5. Also, since this is an Audi, it means we have incredible light design, and even the Audi badge on the back lights up red, so that plays a part now in this whole animation. And you know, if you know Audi, you know that even on their entry-level SUV, they're not going to cheap out on the lights. For wheels, we have these optional 20s wrapped in Continental tires, 255/40 R20 squared setup. Best thing about this Q3, rear proxy key. Check this out. Let me lock it real quick. Actually, we'll go around to the other side because that's the side of the back seat we're going to show you. Watch this. Oh, isn't that just the best? And this is an entry-level SUV. This is the cheapest Audi SUV you can get, and it has rear proxy key. Other manufacturers could definitely learn from this. I have enjoyed it this week. To close the doors, you have these little wings or like buttresses that come off of the door panels, which I think is pretty fun. Easy to get your hands behind that. And it's pretty quiet inside this cabin as well. Audi is usually pretty good with insulating, and we have some double pane or insulated front windows standard as well. Fold down armrest with some cup holders. You actually get a climate control panel back here. It's a little one, but hey, it does the trick. And we've got some vents, some USB-C ports, some seat back pockets, and at 5'11" sat behind myself, it's a little bit snug, but you know what? My knees just barely don't touch the back of the seat. My head, though, does touch the headliner, though I am wearing a camera on my face. So, you know, most normal people aren't doing that, and Audi actually gives you these little divots in the headliner to expand the headroom just a little bit. We've got the beige interior in this. I think the spec overall is super nice on this Q3. A little sneak peek at our optional Sonos sound system, which you guys know we will be testing today. I was actually curious to see if Audi was going to leave the Sonos, because the last second generation car I drove had that, and I didn't remember being super impressed with it. Kind of the same story now, spoiler alert, but we'll show you that later. Up front, we've got these beige seats, of course, still with some detailed stitching in here. They're kind of boring to look at, but they do what they're supposed to do. You've got some lumbar adjust. We've got power driver and passenger seats, which is nice. And then these door panels, you've got this, I don't even know how to really describe this material up top here, but it's kind of like an in-between leather plastic. You've got some cloth here, which is already showing some dirt on it, and then you've got the leather with the matching buttress to close it up here on the front. Memory seats, all the stuff. Let's sit in this and show you this new interior. This is kind of what every new Audi, new era of Audi is looking like these days. We've got this new corporate design for the steering wheel. We saw this first on the Audi RS3, though that one was flat bottom. It was a little bit sportier, but they all kind of go off of this center airbag design being just about the same. So let's close the door, let's start this up, and we'll show you the new tech in here. The first thing I'm going to do is get the air conditioning going because it's quite hot out. What is it? It's 82 currently, but we're on top of a parking structure. It's quite hot. I think it's going to be about 100 today, so It's warming up very quick, so we're going to cool this cabin down a bit. Obviously, we have automatic climate control, and I never like having a climate panel in the infotainment system, but I feel like these days it just is what it is. Everybody's doing this. It's the worst trend ever, but Audi at least does give you some buttons down here, 6 of them in total. We've got a physical volume knob down here, a little cubby with a wireless charger, which I have not been using. I've become a wireless charger hater because I feel like all they do is heat your phone up and then your phone doesn't even end up working or have an opportunity to charge. But anyway, okay, none of that really matters. The biggest thing to talk about here in this interior is what Audi calls the compact command interface. I told you earlier, Audi has reinvented the turn signal, and they've done this by adding this big black bar that goes behind the steering wheel. Now, this functions as your turn signal, your wipers, and your shifter. But I was skeptical of this because I saw videos, and it's hard to actually grasp what this feels like when you're not actually sitting in the car. But let me touch this turn signal, and it might give you a better idea. Listen to this if you have headphones on. This is one of the most satisfying turn signals I've touched in so long. It's like flicking a light switch in Buckingham Palace. I've never been to Buckingham Palace, but I imagine the light switches feel like this. If you've never been there, just think about flicking on a light switch in like a really nice historic house or something. It's a very nice click in here. And you know what? This is on brand for Audi because they've always kind of been good about their feedback from buttons. But even though they have given us these super nice new physical controls, they have taken some away. Obviously showed you the climate control panel is no more, and the steering wheel has been reduced down to these silly haptic buttons, which aren't as bad as the old Mark 8 Golf steering wheel, but I have actually bumped these a couple times while driving. I've adjusted my volume on accident. You are able to slide this for volume, which is a little bit more convenient, but it doesn't really matter because you do still get the physical volume knob down here in the center console, which is surrounded by a lot of piano black, so that does get a bit dusty. But I think overall the design of this interior is still okay. It hasn't been annoying to live with this week apart from the climate control. And I do like that you get this wood here on the dashboard, though I wish it extended to the door panels instead of this kind of cheap looking cloth that you get, which you also get on the top of the dash. So I guess it does match in that respect. Panel roof up here, tan headliner, and frameless mirror. That looks pretty nice. The infotainment just continues into the cluster. It's one big unit. This is normal stuff for new Audis. But let's go drive it. Let's get this on the road and we'll see what kind of fuel economy we get. Now I want to reset my short-term memory here so we can see how we do. Into reverse, you get the 360 camera and reverse camera, and I gotta be honest, I did expect the reverse camera to be a little bit higher quality, but you do get all these cameras. These are optional, part of one of the packages that'll be down in the description, but it is always nice to have a front camera pulling up to a wall or a curb or something. You can get right up to there. And we have parking sensors and an exact measurement to the inch. We're 42 inches from the wall there. That's pretty cool. Now, first thing you notice while driving this new Q3, and really something that I quite like, is the steering. Now, this has what Audi calls a progressive steering rack, which just means that the more you turn it, the quicker it gets. And lock to lock, I mean, this is like ultra quick steering in this car, and the phone is going to have to go on the wireless charger, but I'm going to put it upside down. There we go. But it just means that maneuverability in this is fantastic. One quick little hand over hand and you're just about at full lock. Steering weight itself, pretty light. It's got a nice medium lightness to it, which I always like in a car like this. Now that we're in the dark, you guys can see the little spot of ambient lighting we have in this interior. Always love to see that as well. I think if you're gonna make a car in this segment, there has to be a little bit of wow to it because it's just so competitive. And I like to bring all these cars to this sort of setting just to see, you know, apples to apples what they're like, because that's sort of the whole ethos of these cars. You know, they're just daily drivers. They're one car solutions. If you're going to be living with this thing every day, it better be pretty dang good. And you know, it's missing some things. I wish it had ventilated seats for $52,000 in a Q3. I've just been finding any reason to use this turn signal this week because it's so satisfying to touch. I wonder if maybe Audi heard us talking about how BMW had such a nice satisfying feel to their turn signals and they said, we will do it better. Physical button here to get to the parking cameras, though I think we're going a little bit too fast for those to come up. There we go. That's a bit of a bummer. Looks like anything over 7 miles an hour, they will not stay up, probably because they're such low quality. But at least there is a physical button there. Now, okay, another disclaimer. The art fair is going on currently in Ann Arbor, which means the city that was already very much closed is even more closed. So we're going to have a bit of a time actually getting out of the city today. But I think we'll figure it out together just fine. Really is easy to place this thing. We will get ourselves pulled out of here, and I think we're probably going to go straight. Luckily, Waze, here featured on wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Waze is going to show me what's open. It looks like we might actually have a nice straight shot out of here today. Even if you've got people on scooters and people in Honda Pilots that are not waiting their turn at the stop sign. And people in Teslas. Oh, the chaos has ensued. Ann Arbor is restless today. Probably because nobody can get where they're trying to go. I understand the frustration. Anyway, though, what is this like once you get it out on the road when you're in a city setting? Well, this has one of the weirdest accelerator pedal feelings and throttle tuning calibrations that I've felt in a while. And I think that Audi and Volkswagen have struggled a bit with this in the past, to where the throttle's a little bit jumpy, and I think they've maybe tried to compensate a little bit too much with this Q3, because you really have to get into this pedal for this to go anywhere, and it can be a little bit unsettling if you're trying to pull into traffic. I've just been giving it, consciously giving it a little bit more than I think is necessary. Let's take a left here and see where this takes us. And the problem isn't even really with initial tip-in. That's fine. That's actually better than I felt in a lot of these 2-liter powered Volkswagen Auto Group cars. The problem is once you're actually trying to get going, once you're like 20 to 30% into the pedal, and there's this little dead zone where nothing happens, and I really don't like that feeling. It's amazing that they really just make the whole city into an art exhibit. It's quite cool, unless you have a car. Then it's not cool. But it just means that we get to sort of weave around bottlenecks like James May in the Ferrari 458 in New York City. And eventually we will find our way out. And luckily other inputs are good. I mean, we talked about the steering in this being quick. That is nice. And then the brake pedal feels pretty good as well. No complaints there. So I think there's just been a little bit of overcompensation here with this. I like all this turning. It means I get to touch the compact command interface, which I very much like doing. Do I think it was necessary for Audi to reinvent the turn signal? No, I don't. But it really isn't as drastic as they make it seem. I mean, the turn signal's still in the same place as it's always been. So this has an S-tronic dual clutch transmission. This is pretty standard with an Audi that's this size. And, I'm never really the biggest fan of dual clutch gearboxes in little SUVs and just kind of commuter cars like this, because to the common, how do I say this without sounding rude? To the person that doesn't really care about cars or driving, they just buy this because it's an Audi and it looks cool. It's a little bit of a learning curve because it doesn't drive exactly like a torque converter automatic car. You've got a little bit of a different feel between gears. Now, this does make very smooth gear changes. I will say Audi's had plenty of time to dial this S-tronic in, and it does a pretty good job. But I think that little dead zone, like right now, this is even throttle input. It does make cool boost noises. It is a very quiet car otherwise, though. This 2-liter is just about silent. In fact, the turbo is louder than the entire engine. It's really all you hear with this. Currently doing 13.7 mpg, just kind of idling around the city. Oh, maneuverability is just fantastic. I love this steering. Got a number of different drive modes in this. I'm driving right now in balanced. You've also got dynamic, comfort, and off-road plus. I found that comfort makes this already numb throttle response even more numb, so I've just been leaving this in balance this week, and it seems to do just fine. Are they repaving sections of this road? We're just being forced to drive in the potholes right now, which I really don't like, especially on these 20-inch wheels. You know, Audi is not the best with their road intrusion NVH. In fact, when you hit potholes in this, it does feel, hold on, it does feel like the wheel's gonna come off. We had an Audi S3 last year, and we had another one a couple of years ago, and the Topher and I described the pothole hitting, which is just a normal thing you do in Michigan, as a bit of an out-of-body experience. It's very sketchy. The interior doesn't rattle. The interior is fine. It actually feels very tight and well put together, even though some of the materials are a bit subpar, like we showed you earlier. The actual build quality is nice. Oof. Oof, oof. Are the cones done? Can we make a lane change? Yes, indeed we can. Torque here is nice, and I think this little boost of power is what this car needed, and it kind of saves you having to make the choice of if you want like 20 or 30 more horsepower. And I think powertrain can be a bit exclusive from like the rest of the trims. Like, that doesn't really bother me too much, that you've got 255 horsepower across the board. I do just wish that there was a bit more of a base model option, because not everybody wants to pay $44,000 for an entry-level Audi SUV. I mean, that just seems like so much, though. I don't know. Everything these days in 2026 is just so expensive. It's just the world we live in now. But yeah, the road NVH is just not good. I mean, this is kind of a loud car to sit in. The wind noise and the sort of like atmospheric NVH is pretty non-existent here in this, but the road just, man, it really envelops the cabin. Ride quality in this is pretty nice, though it is a little bit hard to judge just because of all of the road NVH here. It's a bit of a firm ride quality, but it isn't crashy. Ooh, we get an open entrance ramp. Let's go dynamic mode. Dynamic mode will default the gearbox into S, as you can see. And we did that whole thing, okay? We accelerated pretty hard. Did you guys hear the engine? It's so quiet. All right, we'll go comfort mode for the highway. That'll default the gearbox back into D. Very nice. You don't have to switch anything there. So, okay. Give you a second to observe our highway NVH. Really, a smooth highway is where this car shines, because the cabin is so well insulated from the wind and things. You really don't hear a whole lot. Testing out these brakes. I'm going to turn up my air conditioning just a bit. Vent placement, not the best. I don't like these vents that are so low down, and this is another trend. Infotainment systems are getting so big that we're sacrificing vent placement. They have to make them too low. Obviously, these are fine. This is like the proper height for a vent, okay? Look how much lower these ones are in the middle. Anyway, highway manners seem to be mostly nice. Obviously, this car is very easily placeable. Visibility out of this is good. You can see plenty out of the rear, though if you took those headrests out, you'd be very much golden. Side view mirrors are a good size, and blind spots are pretty much non-existent. It's a very nice sort of open greenhouse in this car, easy to see out of. engine is pretty good at just using its torque to get you up to speed. Occasionally you'll have to downshift, but usually it doesn't even have to. All right, we'll get up to speed here and then we will show you our cruise control. Now we do actually have a pretty good amount of driver aids in this, and I love that the cruise control has stayed independent from the steering wheel. You just got this little stalk down here like you would have seen on an old school Porsche or Audi or even a Toyota. Toyota used to do this same thing. This has lane keep assist, it has lane change assist, which we'll show you once we get by this Nissan Rogue. We'll make a little bit of a lane change to the right, that we might just have to bump the speed up a bit. It's pretty easy to get used to this, and you get some nice muscle memory going on with this stalk down here. And then you can even adjust the distance for the adaptive cruise with this little subsection of the stalk. Always love to see everything in one place, all adjustable via physical switch or button. Now, all day yesterday, this was doing automatic lane changes for me. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it's doing a lane change. It just has to be willing to do one. The only thing I don't love is that you have to have your hands on the wheel the whole time, which I understand. However, this doesn't seem to have a grip sensor, which means if the car doesn't think your hands are on the wheel, it then tells you to put your hands on the wheel when they're already on the wheel. So, I don't know. The lane change assist is fine in the way that, like, it kind of takes the stress away. You know, it's not going to change lanes into another car. But whatever. I like the ones in BMWs that just change the lane without any intervention. But driver assist system in this seems pretty good, and as far as like accelerating when passing, it doesn't seem too nervous. It seems to just be able to get on with it, which I do like. So let's talk ergonomics in here. You've got nice soft surfaces for your elbows, center console super squishy, driver's door panel super squishy. In fact, this has got some of the nicest elbow rests of any car that I've felt recently. Mazda CX-30 is pretty cozy as well, but this is a very close runner-up to that. Seat comfort seems to be decent. You've got lumbar adjust that goes up, down, in, and out, which I think is important for a car like this. Ooh, an Escalade V. Oh yeah. Love an Escalade V. Alright, we're gonna kill cruise control. Easy to cancel, just push it away from you. We'll get this off the highway, we'll do a bit of a performance loop, and then that'll be a wrap on this today. MPG showing 21.9 as a total from our last 11.5 miles. From city to country, with some highway in between. Oh, I'm bumping the volume. See what I mean there? It's like, haptic buttons are not always the solution here. I'm gonna let this coast us down to speed. Cool. And we'll end this with a sound system test after we do our little performance loop. I'll show you what the Sonos system can do. Alright, let's put this back into dynamic mode. Ending out today 22.6, so just about our city rating. You can also grab a paddle. That'll put you into manual mode. Reasonably quick, this car, and it's good at masking its speed just because it is so quiet and the gear changes are so smooth. You don't really realize what's happening. Let's get traction off for this corner here. We'll see how this does. Really lets you pull some gnarly downshifts too. Pretty good at clawing itself out of the corner. You know, I'm not mad at the performance credentials of this car. And it makes sense, you know, Audi's kind of really big on this best base, you know, power and torque in the segment, and you know, whatever else. But it's reasonably fun to drive if you're in a situation like this. And you know, if you're somewhere where you're commuting back roads or something, this will do the trick. I'm gonna put gearbox back into automatic. Yeah. You feel the weight a little bit, but you know, it's trying its best. Good job, Q3. Why don't we wrap up our thoughts here? But before we do that, let's show you this Sonos sound system. So, you know, decent sound system. I don't really think there's anything in this segment that blows me away. I mean, maybe the Volvo XC40 has a little bit of a leg up on all of them with its Harman Kardon system. The Sonos in this, it's okay, you know, it's going to get the job done. It's not the crispiest sound quality. It kind of falls apart on some more complex highs, but it's got decent power, and, you know, it is what it is for the 50 some odd thousand dollars that this car costs. Now, as far as some final thoughts on this, I do think this is a nice current effort from Audi. Do I think it like seriously stands out in the segment? Not really. There are things about this that I like. I think the exterior design is nice. I love this little compact command interface, you know, that was kind of the star of the show here, and some of the materials in here are nice. My only little hiccup with this is I think it's gotten a little bit expensive, and I know they give you more, but I feel like even with these luxury brands, you know, that make these, like the Mercedes GLA, the BMW X1, there is still a little bit of value searching that people are doing, because, you know, you're getting the base model or the entry-level version of the car from a luxury brand, so you don't always want to be spending like an insane amount of money. Into parking brake is down here on the right. But the cars in this segment, they're always so tough for me because there's just so many of them and they all do the same thing, and they all do it pretty well. You know, there's nothing really bad about this car. I think just the newness of this is exciting. I think this new sort of interior layout will be exciting for people that have a previous generation Q3. I think for the most part, this is very easy to use. You know, the infotainment system is very well within reach. It reacts very nicely. I've had no problems with this at all this week. It's been totally fine. The wireless CarPlay's been good. Do I wish it had a climate control panel? Yes, I do. But everything is easy enough to decipher. I think you could probably put grandma in this car and she'd have an okay time, maybe if you just sat with her for a second and showed her a couple of things. But, you know, packaging in here is okay as well. But I think this is one of those cars where, you know, go and drive other stuff in the segment and you kind of just can't go wrong. I mean, you'll be totally fine with this Audi Q3 if that's what you decide to go with. But you've got about 20 other choices, so choose wisely. And if you like the way that this Malpelo blue looks like I do, well, maybe this Audi Q3 would be your choice. But I hope you enjoyed coming along with me today on this little real-world city commute. We'll have more videos on this car on the Winding Road Magazine YouTube channel if you want to see what this is like or hear what this is like without me talking. And then the Topher, I'm sure, will have a video over on his channel as well if you want some more info. But for today and for this video, that is going to wrap it up. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.